I wanted to go to Spain because of TikTok, because like I was on TikTok one random day and like I heard people speak Spanish and it was very, very sexy. I'm like, you know what, I have to just go to this country. That was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
why I wanted to go to Spain.
Part of the condition for that scholarship is that you have to return back home. See, guys, don't be afraid of anybody on LinkedIn.
See, there is a difference between top 10 schools overall and top 10 schools in the course you're looking at. I graduated in 2019 from counting, and I think sometime in 2021. So I got like a bit bored with the work and I needed like challenge. So I started talking to people
Okay.
and telling them like, okay, I want to, I do not want to move from accounting or finance because I really, really love it, but I also just want something like challenging. And then talking to so many people, they're like, oh, just do business analytics. Like it's in the middle, right? It's
Okay.
going to be challenging, but it's also like with a lot of numbers, data and everything. And then there's like financial analyst and everything. So that was in 2021. I mean, it was in my head. And then in 2022, one random Sunday, I started, so what I did was that when I already knew like the course I wanted to do, bear in mind, like people told me, but like I didn't like take it hook, line, and sinker. I tried to like get information about what the course is about and like couple of researches, right? So one random Sunday, I now like started searching. I was like, oh, top 10 schools or in business analytics. See, there is a difference between top 10 schools overall and top 10 schools in the course you're looking at, right? So I did like top 10 schools in business analytics, and like there was Harvard and so many other schools. And then I just saw this school. It's like the ninth on the list and it's in Spain. And honestly, that was why I went to that school because it's in Spain. I was like, this is an opportunity for me to actually go to Spain because I wanted to go to Spain. Like I wanted to go to Spain because of TikTok, because like I was on TikTok one random day and like I heard people speak Spanish and it was very, very sexy and it was really from like fine men. I'm like, you know what, I have to just go to this country. That was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
why I wanted to go to Spain.
Okay.
Saying this story because it's so unserious, but that's the truth. So I mean, I literally started learning French using Duolingo. Sorry, Spanish using Duolingo. And
Okay.
then in 2022, when I did the research and I saw this school, I'm like, you know what, this is jackpot. This is why I'm going to go to Spain, right? But I did make a mistake. So, I mean, I knew I wanted to do business analytics. I mean, I already found the school, Spain, whatever, whatnot. But I honestly did not do deep dive that, okay, I needed like a bit of coding experience to be able to do business analytics. And that's also because like the school was like, oh, you can, you're okay without coding experience. You're going to get everything from the scratch, right? And then I went to the school. To be quite honest, there was like a 3 weeks pre-course. So depending on what you did, because people from like really tech background and people like us from the finance background. So depending on what background you have. So for us that were like finance background without like coding experience, we resumed like 3 weeks earlier so that we could like gain coding experience, right? And
Okay.
then ground they came like maybe 4 weeks earlier. Basically, the point was for you to have like the basics before starting the whole class, right? But the thing is that you can't be learning Python, 3 weeks to the start of a class, right?
True.
Because
Yeah.
there are people that are way ahead of you. You're gonna struggle. So that was a mistake I made. But I mean, at the end of the day, it went well. I
Went
passed,
to
I graduated. But that's
awesome.
that's one thing that people need to know. You always need to like deep dive into whatever course you wanna do. So before you go for any course, before you do anything, try to like have a deep dive. And this is where I was driving at. Personally, again, everybody has different journey, different timeline, different opportunities, right? And for me, an advice initially, my plan was, oh, do NYC, then go for masters, and then we'll wing it up from there. Then I
Okay.
remember a conversation I had with someone, and he was like, you know what? Don't just go for masters like that. Try to have an experience so that you know what you want to master in. And then it made sense because this was the analogy he gave me. He was like that, oh, he knows somebody, right, that studied like microbiology and then went to do microbiology at masters. But because life and everything, the person did end up using like microbiology and is now like in the media creative sector. And my friend was like, if this person had known, you would work in the media creative sector and then go do your masters. So that way you're not doing your masters in microbiology, you're literally doing your masters in what you already like have experience in, and it's like helping you out. So
Okay.
in quotes, you've done bachelor's in microbiology, you've done masters in microbiology, and you're honestly not using the microbiology. Then you now have to now like start building upon the like creative media space that you're currently at. This is why I said it depends on opportunity, it depends on what you have. If you have someone that is trying to sponsor you, I mean, because again, time is money, it can be risky to delay, but don't just do things for doing sake. Have a purpose behind whatever you're doing. And it doesn't really
Okay.
matter how you start. Like me now, I really wanted to go to Spain because of the language and because of man that I saw on TikTok that I don't know. But it drove me to a very
Valid.
like
It's
a
valid. It's okay. It's
drove me
okay.
to a very sensible, like it helped out, right? So
Okay.
that's why I said, like, regardless of the source or the inspiration or the push, just know what you're doing. So yeah, that's my journey
Okay.
basically.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was really interesting. And I hope the man will be found. Um, but yeah. Yeah, okay. So that leads us straight into our next question. For Joy along here. Just before we go in, guys, she was a visual head back then in school. So if you have if you need to shoot anything, Joy is your girl. Okay. So Joy, just to move on. So say I want to apply for masters tomorrow. What are the key documents I should start working on from today? Right. So we have people on this call trying to go for masters. So Joy, what do you think are the documents I need to start working on right now so I can scale through? So Joy, that's for you.
Everyone, I'm so happy to be on this call. Thank you so much to CUALA for this opportunity. So quickly to answer the question, the key documents you need to gather for admission, number one, you would need your transcripts. Like that's that's the first thing you need to do. And then you need to start writing a statement of purpose. Like I think like that I believe people on this call know what a state of purpose is, but in case you don't know, it's you are writing to the school to like you're writing to the school to explain to them why you are choosing to why they should admit you for this particular degree. So you are saying you're talking about your background, you're talking about your interests, you are aligning your background and your interests to that course. You would also need to like work on your passport. Like now, for example, if your passport, I don't know the last time I did it, if your passport is like almost about to expire. So you also need to check that as well. So if they want to give you the visa, they'll give you like around the time when your passport is about to expire. So if you have a much longer time before your passport expires, it's very beneficial. Because I remember my passport probably expires in like 2016. Yeah, like next year or so, because I think I got 5 years. So my postgraduate work permit and then my that time. So just keep that in mind as well. Then you also have like financial documents. So you of course, right? So you will need to show them that you are able to you need to show them that you're able to not only afford the school, afford the course. Yeah, you can also like take care of yourself, right? So if you are sponsoring yourself of documents, but if somebody is sponsoring you, that's where it now gets a little bit I won't say tricky, but it gets like it's not a lot of documents because you have to put no, because you have to declare your bank statements. You in some cases you have to declare like assets that you have, land. You just have to just show them that I have the money, I can afford language testing, depending on where you're going to, IELTS, TOEFL. Um, there's one I can't remember, but like IELTS, TOEFL is your best bet. Then of course, letter of recommendation, from one of your lecturers. So yeah, these are all the key documents that you need.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Joy. Just to recap, your transcript definitely is number one. Your statement of purpose,
Mm-hmm.
within your statement of purpose, making sure your background aligns with your interests, right? And your financial documents, if you have a sponsor, just documents that showcase that you are capable of affording to have a master's abroad and you can take care of yourself, as well as your letter of recommendation. Okay, thank you very much for that.
And your language testing.
Okay,
I said your language testing as well.
Language
like
testing.
your IELTS.
IELTS,
Yes,
yes,
your
and TOEFL. Okay, very important exams that you need to take prior to applying. Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, my next question is just going to take us a deep dive into this, and I'll bring this back to Ayo. Ayo, I love the. Okay, Joy, you didn't mention the country you are at, just for everyone on the call to know.
Okay, so I just graduated from my master's in Canada. So yes, I'm in Ontario, Canada, basically.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. So my question is for Ayo right now. And I think Ayo, I like the fact that your country is a little bit unique. I don't hear a lot of people going to Spain, right? So I want us to talk about visa applications. It's part of the documentations anyway, but I see a lot of, especially people of Black descent from Nigeria, from African countries, getting rejected. I had a friend who was trying to go for masters in the UK, right? He had the financial evidence and everything, but his visa was rejected. So I was wondering if you could just share some tips on visa applications. What can Nigerians do to give us more guarantee in securing visa in these countries? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. But before I answer, I just want to piggyback on like the documentations you need.
Okay.
So you should also know that like documentations is school specific and country specific, right? And then it's also course specific. Now, if you are going for a business course, say you're going for like an MBA, like that's Masters in Business Administration, but to do an MBA, you need like a couple of experience. Or you're going for like a master's in something. But yeah, basically, if you're going to do your master's in a business school, you really do need to either write GMAT or GRE. So you should also like prep for that. Although some schools, I don't know, but like some schools have like their own, for lack of better word, common entrance, right? But it's like kind of GMAT standard. So you have to confirm, but like default, if you're going for like to a business school, you need like GMAT or GRE. Yeah. And then for the visa, again, it depends on country. And to be quite honest, if you're coming to, so I'm currently in Berlin, but I studied in Spain, right?
Okay.
So if you're coming to like an European country that is non-English speaking, to be quite honest, you'll be stressed because you will do a lot of translations, you will do a lot of legalizations. Legalization is basically, how do I break it down? Legalization is basically trying to legalize your documents in their country. So how it works is like, oh, say, okay, now for like, let me use Spain because I actually did that. Certificates, police character, some other things. I had to legalize them, and it's pretty much expensive thing. So you would, they will ask you to translate your documents to their language, right?
Wow.
But that your original documents, you have to get like certified true copy. Now for my birth certificate, I had to go to like the NPC to get certified true copy. Certified true copy is basically the NPC. NPC is Nigerian Population Commission or something like the National Population Commission.
Yeah.
They give you like your maybe a photocopy of your birth certificate, and then they have like this stamp that says certified true copy. Also, CU also has to do like a certified true copy for your what's the other one? Certificates, right? So it's that certified true copy that you take to the with your own original documents, and then it kind of like put like a sticker to say like, oh, this is legalized in Spain. So if your documents are not like legalized, you cannot use it in their country because there's when we go by UK education system, I think their own education system is different. So they kind of have to, just like west of Canada, they have to ensure that whatever you did is like in alignment with like their own. They shall have whatever plus and minus that they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can be tedious, but just know that she just brace up for impact, literally. And for me, I was kind of like, it was a bit easier for me because my school was helpful. Because like Spain, you first have to legalize your documents before you can do your visa, before you can submit for like your visa application. So it's very, very hectic trying to get appointment for legalization before now trying to get appointment for visa. So my school was very helpful in like communicating with like the consulates of Spain, and they kind of like helped with like easy dates to get dates. So it's a bit of work, and I would say that even if you are going to use an agent, please and please understand what the process is about. So when the agent is trying to bring gas, you are able to ask like, hello, this is what I mean, some of
Yes.
them might be angry that you want to teach them their work, but it also like keeps them in check to say that this is not somewhere they can just, bamboozle, right? He or she knows what he or she is doing, right? So you should have an idea of the process and know what, so that if the agent is also dragging leg, you're also like, oh, when are we going to do legalization? When are we doing this? So you're able to like, put the agent on his or her toes. But I would say like, and if you're going to an English country, I mean, I might be myopic, but if it's something you can do yourself, please just do it. I needed an agent because I needed to translate my documentation, and there was no way I was going to do it myself. So he's already in that business. So he already has people that work. I mean, it was collected as original and it was like legit. Because also for your, I to also do like legalization. The thing is, again, is like for your documents, like your education, your transcripts, your certificates, it has to first go to the Ministry of Education. So the Ministry of Education has to monitor it to say that, okay, oh, this is valid in our country. Before you're not gonna legalize in their own country. But like they're in their, it's basically in their consulates that they legalize. Now, Spain is easy. Germany, from all I did study in Germany, but from all I heard, I think okay, but we are not doing bachelors. But if it's bachelors, I know that it takes a long time. Maybe it's masters. I think it is also long, but maybe not as long. I don't really understand their math. But for everyone
Okay.
that has spoken that is currently studying in Germany, they had like at least a year and a half for them to be able to get their visa to come. So you also should like try to get like all of this information so you can plan. And the thing with doing your masters abroad and documentation is like you don't wake up and you do it. You actually have to plan. You need like at least a year to plan your move, right? Again, different factors are in play, right? But you don't just wake up and say you are going. Please have a plan because otherwise, when push comes to shove, you will just be weak and you will not be ready to go for anything so that you leave.
Because yeah, true.
So you have
Okay.
to have a plan and yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I like the fact that you expanded on the fact that documentation is not just school specific, it's country specific as well. So you need to consider the legal requirements within the country, if it's an English speaking country or not, translating your documents into the language of that country, right? And also the benefits of understanding the process. Even though you're going to use an agent, you shouldn't just be laid back. You should actually know what should happen at each step of the way. So thank you very much. Okay, and you spoke a lot about like finance and sorry, about like part of legal requirements, funds, right? So I want to direct this question to Joy now. Um, what can you share with us about scholarships? So in the case where, say, somebody wants to pursue their masters, they are seeking to get scholarship or some funding, right? How can one go about this, and what are some scholarship opportunities that the people on this call should look out for? So Joy, that's for you.
So I don't know too much about scholarships because I didn't apply for scholarships. But one important thing that I can say about scholarships is that whatever scholarship that you are looking like that you want to apply for, that you're looking at, you should make sure that I don't know how to, but like you should make sure that um that the clause in like part of the conditions, because that has happened to some people here in like Canada, like in my city, they applied for scholarships and then they didn't know that part of the condition for that scholarship is that you have to return back home after using it. So that's definitely one thing I
Like
would say.
Chevnin, right?
If Yes, exactly. Like
Chevening
Chevening, you
scholarship.
have to Chevening. There was one that it was I could don't even know. So okay, so when I heard that, I don't know, I was just very wary of scholarship. And then no, but then also the time when I entered in, the school fees wasn't like that expensive, so I didn't really need a scholarship. But if you can find a scholarship, great, fantastic for you. But if you are, you should you should read the condition and make sure it doesn't tell you that you have to go back home afterwards. So
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for that. Especially with the clauses, know this kind of scholarship you're applying for. Ayo, just before the next question, do you have anything you can share with us as a bonus on scholarships, getting scholarships, winning scholarships, and just the whole process? Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I can share quite a couple, and because I got like scholarships.
Okay.
First thing first, and this is why I said you need like a year to plan. First things first, if you are applying for scholarship, target the first batch. Okay, I don't know because on my school they have like 3 phases or 3 deadlines to apply for scholarship. So there's the first batch, second batch, and third batch, right? And obviously you cannot apply for scholarship until you get admission. For you to get admission, you should have applied like earlier to get like a result before the time for the scholarship application opens. So what works is like always target to be like in the first batch of application. Because this is also because like they have like a very big pool of funds, right? When you're getting into the second and third batch, they are kind of like more strict, or you have like limited funds, or they have limited funds to disburse. But if you're in the first batch and your application is like really convincing, then there's like really high chance that you would get. It depends on the country, but at least in my own case, that was what like helped, right?
Okay.
Then
Sorry,
there
just
are other
to
like
come in.
scholarship. Yeah,
Yeah, let me just come in. Can you share with us the scholarship you got? And like, I know their scholarships are competitive, right?
yeah.
So what are some of the things that give you an edge?
Okay. So again, like I said, I went to a business school. So the scholarship I got was like the school's scholarship.
Okay.
But they also have like other scholarship. I know of Prodigy. Prodigy's scholarship is a loan. There's some organizations that actually give like scholarship to students, and so you have to like be on top of, okay. So again, like I said, it was my school scholarship that I used. And what helped was basically because my school has like different types of scholarships. So there's the merit scholarship, like they give like between 12% to 50%. And there's like the need-based scholarship. That one is like basically dependent, right? And that's like taking like I think at most 75% of your school fees or whatever. So I actually got the need-based scholarship. And what helped was basically because I I showed that I really wanted to come to Spain. In my this I just wrote that I was coming because I like their culture, because of the language, which honestly is not a
Okay.
lie. I just didn't know the fact
Nice.
that it's man that brought me. The man that I don't know, that I just saw on internet. But anyways, I literally told them that I really like their culture, I like their language, I've started learning. And then I tied it back to Nigeria, how Nigeria is, and how like the inflation rate is very, 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 very
Hi.
crazy. The inflation rate is like really high, which compared to other countries is the margin is very wide. So I was like, it's very high. So even if I say, oh, I want to use a year to collect the money, inflation is going to add on it. By the next year I'm ready to apply, and I might not like meet up. And then, okay, with my degrees and my certifications, and I also like the statement of purpose, I also kind of tied it to it that okay, oh, this is why I want to do this course. And I think I also wrote like I'm literally going to pay it forward, which again, just be as honest and authentic as you can be, right? No need to form what you are not, because
Yeah.
it will show. Let's put it that way. It's going to show, right? Because when I got to the school, I had to like pay it forward. I had to like, talk to new students. I had to, and again, everything was genuine. Okay, I have this kind of thing for me. It was like this is just the facts. This is just the truth of the matter. So it's either you help me or you help me, literally. So,
Okay. Okay.
but yeah, no, I know couple of scholarships, so I'm gonna check. But it's country specific and also school
So specific.
specific. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And just to reiterate for everyone on the call, so in as from what Joy has told us, in as much as you're applying for a scholarship, know the rules of the scholarship. There are scholarships that require you to go back to your country of residence, right? And I also told us that when applying for scholarships, try to make sure you're in the first batch of scholarships to make sure you have a higher chance of getting accepted and there are more funds available for your own application. And also the intentionality, you can see how she mentioned she knew she wanted to go to Spain. She started learning the language, started learning the culture, their ways of life, talking to new students already, right? So you really need to be intentional, right, when it comes to trying to get scholarships because we know how competitive they are. Okay, so I think we've talked a lot about the technical side of things. I also like us to talk about the lifestyle side of things. I know there are a couple of restrictions when it comes to students working abroad, right? Maybe if you're doing your master's and you're trying to get some extra money, what is your experience? This is for Joy. What's your experience in trying to work, trying to earn more to sustain yourself? Can you just talk to us about that?
Okay, no problem. So here in Canada, Ontario, I'm not sure, like I think different provinces have different rules, but the last time, so if working off campus, you are required to work, that's part-time. So you're required to work for 24 hours if you find a job and work as they need you. So my experience, I found a job both off
Wait,
campus and on
sorry to come in. When you say 24
campus.
hours, when you say 24 hours, do you mean in a week?
Full hours in a week. So my time here is like 24 hours, like between 20 to 24 hours. Then full
Okay.
time is like between 32 to 40 hours. So that's like maybe 8 hours Monday to Friday or
Yeah.
8 hours Monday to Saturday.
Okay.
So yes, so for so as a student, they need you to like work part-time, right? No, because the idea is that you kind no, because the idea in their heads, immigration is that when you applied, you showed them your financial stability, that you can afford school, you can afford living here, right? So they don't want you to be working full-time hours as a student. So that's good. I mean, like it's good, it's considerate of them, especially when you're doing master, because I worked, if considering it and I give you 24 hours, but then a lot of people, no, but then like a lot of people only pay for like the first year of school and then they come here thinking that, oh, that they'll be able to work and then like, work out. If you can possibly save up some money for yourself, because once you come here as a student, you can only work 24 hours in a week. But like finding work off and on campus. So finding work on and off campus. So like I would advise that if it's possible, try as much as possible to find work on campus, even if it's 1 or 2 jobs on campus in your school. Work. So if you find a job outside campus, like um maybe as a sales associate, maybe as a call the IT, right? The job can only pay you like minimum wage sometimes.
Yeah.
And then and then sometimes that minimum wage can make you to be living paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah.
right? So you just so as a student, you just have to just figure out, okay, how to find a job, figure out your life, like how to save, how to not use all of your funds all at once. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very
That's
much.
how the working life is in Canada.
Thank you. Thank you for reiterating that too. Right. So, just the main highlight for everyone. It's advisable to get a job on campus, right? Because working off campus, you most likely get a job that pays you minimum wage, causing you to work paycheck to paycheck and still have to handle academic activities and all that. So, thank you for sharing that. So, I would just like us to take a 2 minute short break and answer the question in the chat. I dropped a link. So let's just click on that link. Let's click on that link. It's a question. What degree would you like to study abroad? What degree would you like to study abroad? So I would love us to just click on that link and let's just get our reactions. I think when we did the first one for countries, we saw a lot of people trying to go to Germany, to Canada, to the US. So I would just love to get our pulse on what countries, on what degrees rather, we would like to study abroad. Industrial engineering, okay. MBA, Masters in Business. Oh, we have a lot of finance related people here, which is great. We have an accountant on the call, so on the meeting rather. So that's great. We have computer science, neuropsychology. Interesting. Interior design, robotics, okay. But finance and MBA seem to be dominating. Okay, someone says software related. Look, we have a lot of software related things. I can see control systems, computational biology. Joy as well is a trained information and communication engineer, as well as a master, still computer related. So that's awesome. Okay, we have computer science coming up and robotics. All right, that's great. So it's quite a good balance to see on the call, because both of our speakers are heavily invested in the finance sector as well as computer sector. So that's great. I like that we have this balance. Okay, so I'll stop sharing now. I think we've had a good stretch break. We're currently 67 on the call. Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll soon be having a Q&A session. So let's start prepping up questions for our speakers. Thank you very much. Okay. So like I said, we talked a lot about the technical side. I would like us to look at the lifestyle side as well, because this is a big section of your life. You won't only be going to school, you're going to a new country, a new environment, new people. All right. So, Ayo, this next question is coming to you, and I would like you to talk about housing. So from your experience, is it better to live on campus or off campus? What are the dynamics around that? So just let us hear from you, Ayo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Please come to Spain. Spain is a beautiful city, gosh.
I'm sure it's not
Oh
because
my,
of man. But
come to Spain!
it's okay, it's okay.
God.
It's okay.
No, there's no, like I said, the man, I did not know, when you're on TikTok, you just see people, but you guys need to come to Spain. I mean, people are vacationing in Spain. Well,
Okay.
but okay, back to the subject.
Yeah.
Well, so my school, it's not, okay, my school is not, almost like schools in Spain. They don't really have like a campus hostel per se. My school did have, but it is that my school is in like the outskirts of town, right? And like from city center to my school, like about 45 minutes journey, 50 minutes journey, right? So
Okay.
it won't make sense, because when people are like, after when your classmates or your colleagues are like outside, right, in the city center, having fun or ease of
Balling.
movement, yeah, you are in the village trying to look for a train that will bring you to the city. So that was where my school's campus was. And most times the people that use it admit it like maybe bachelors, because they're trying to, find their way
Yeah.
within the city. So just, I don't know if anyone is familiar with Lagos, just the way house hunting is hectic in Lagos is the way house hunting is hectic in Spain and even in Germany. I can talk from two sides, right? But what helped for me, so when I was house hunting in Spain, my school did give us like a list of housing resources, basically
Okay.
collation of what like students had given them, right? How
Yeah.
they got their houses. So majority of people said like it's not hostel, but they call it student residences, right? Because here they'll
Okay.
tell you that hostel is different from student residence, right?
Okay.
So it's like student residence, so like different, and it's not owned by the school, it's like different companies, right? Having like different student residence. So even the student residency the student residence doesn't mean it's only students. Sometimes you can find like family living in student residence, right? It's just basically that's what like in quotes easier to get. As much as it's easier, it's very competitive because students are coming and going. People that are studying for bachelors, that are studying for masters, there are people that are studying for Erasmus, that are also like looking for apartments. So, but student residence might be as like expensive compared to you getting like apartment with like some set of people and probably splitting the bill.
The bill.
So
Yeah.
I would say you should ask questions, like people that are currently living in the city you are going to, reach
Yeah.
out to them on LinkedIn. Oh, hi, how do I get an apartment here? They'll most likely will send you like links, give you a list of names of apartments, apps, or yes, house hunting her apps that you can use. Also ask your school. They would, as in, because they are, at least from my experience, my school is really very particular about international students because they kind of understand like the difficulties. So they are really,
Yeah.
really invested in international students. So if you ask them, they will guide you. Although school is school, they're like high up there. They're not really into like the masses, like what the
Yeah.
masses or the students are really facing. So it's best to actually ask people that have studied, basically how they navigated it, or people that are even studying. And also you do your like research, use Twitter to check gist of how people found like an apartment. Just basically, yeah, that's basically it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I think the main thing I really got from what you're saying is like asking questions and being out there, right? Like, guys, timidity is not allowed. Like, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So, like, ask your school, ask people around, and this is when being intentional comes in. I mean, you try to learn Spanish, right? You actually made that effort, and you know, just make sure you're asking questions so that you're not spending money where you shouldn't be spending. Okay, thank you very much for that, Ayo. Okay, all right. So we have a couple of questions. We have one here. This is from Verity. So the question is, if I'm already in the country I would like to school in, how do I gain experience to get to know what to master in? So I take that again. If I'm already in the country I'd like to school in, how do I gain experience to get to know what to master in? So Joy, I'll take your thoughts on that, then I will move it over to you. So Joy, let's hear from you. Thank you.
Okay, so just to understand the question, she's already in the country.
Yeah.
So how can she gain experience to know what to master in, right? I think two things, networking, network, LinkedIn, networking, right? Like try and find out. And if you can also get a job in that, in like what you want to do, right? That also helps out. Like now, for example, so like now my background is information communication engineering, but then somehow I ended up being a data analyst, right? So,
Okay.
so I ended up being a data analyst somehow. So now that I've worked as a data analyst, I kind of want to go back to being a network engineer. But like, so so I already have a little bit of experience in that. But if I wanted to like go back to school to master in network engineering, I'm gonna like now on LinkedIn, I reached out to people. See, guys, don't be afraid of anybody on LinkedIn.
Mm.
Text them. If the person isn't like a terrible person, the person will answer you and be willing enough to help you out. And then two, of course, just like I said, networking events. I don't know which country you're in, but the country I'm in, Canada, Ontario, they are always having a networking job panel, job fair, where you can easily talk to HR, you can easily talk to professionals that are in like that space. So that I think those are the two best things. And then YouTube. YouTube is your friend. YouTube is your friend, right? Just go like now, see, just go to YouTube and just check day in the life of a day in the life experience of so and so. You see the bad, you see the good. Reddit as well. Oh yeah, so actually four tips. Yes, I gave 4 tips. I didn't. So um, LinkedIn for networking. What did I say? Yeah, LinkedIn, networking, YouTube, job if possible, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Joy. Thank you. That was a brilliant take on that. Just trying to make sure you get experience from YouTube, from personal experience all around. So Ayo, I would have loved for you to give a take on this, but like we have questions are like pouring in, so we just kind of have to move and also keep to time. So Ayo, this question is for you and it's on scholarship. So the question goes as thus. Let's say one wants to apply for a graduate program next year, that's 2026-27. What would have been the best time to apply for admission and a scholarship? So say someone wants to get a scholarship for a program next year, 2026/27. When is the best time to, put in those scholarship applications? I know you said it's school specific, but let's just get your thoughts on that. Thank you.
Okay, so like I said, you need to plan ahead. First things first is to try to study the pattern of the school.
Okay.
So if you see that the school always calls for, so that's why you have to be intentional. Follow the school on their socials. Also try to see who is working in the school, probably like in the admissions team or something. Not because you're trying to, get favor, but just because you are trying to get like information.
Okay.
Because the earlier you get information, the earlier you know. So I can't tell you, oh, start applying in August, because what if the school opens the application in March, right? And you should know that it depends on the resumption of the school. I know that like in Americas, they have like fall semester, I think winter semester. In Europe, September is September, right?
Yeah.
But it depends. I don't want to generalize. Again, it depends on what you're studying. It depends on September in Europe, right? So that kind of thing, they start like earlier. So use myself for example. I came in 2023, right? But I had or submitted like my application in 2022. I had to defer. So I already had admission before the first batch of 2023 something came out, or like opened rather, of scholarship. So you should follow the trend. So like my school now, they generally always open. So for September 2026, application is already opened in
Okay.
September 2025, right? So I
The
think
whole
it's
year.
September, October. Yeah, so they open
Yeah.
like application for like the master study, you apply to get your decision. During my time for the scholarship, I think it opened in like December or January for the scholarship. So admission opens earlier than the scholarship. Again, depends on the school. So my own time, you apply for the masters, whatever, maybe September, October, you get like
Yeah.
admission feedback. Then like in December, January, first batch of scholarship opens, right? So you just have to follow the school to know like the pattern, right? So that way you know when to target, when you should set notification, when you should reach out, basically, right? And also again, like Joyce said, reach out to people on LinkedIn. The school you are eyeing, there's someone that has gone there, ask them, oh, when did you submit your application, whatever, whatnot, right? And this is why I like, or I keep clamoring that you should use like your alumni association, in the sense that if you've not updated your LinkedIn to include CU, please go and do that, right? Because the truth is
True.
that when you reach out to people on LinkedIn, they go through your profile. I went to see you. I see someone that went to see you. I'm a bit more inclined to be like, oh, what does this person have to
Definitely.
say?
Yeah.
Right?
True.
But if your school is not there, there's nothing interesting like that. It will be hard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I understand
you should update exactly. And then just to also add, when you are updating your LinkedIn profile to include CU, there are two CUs on LinkedIn. Please choose the one that has like the CU logo on it. Right? There's one without CU logo and there's one with CU logo. So please choose the one with CU logo. That's the recognized one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for shedding your light on that. We'll just take two more questions and we'll call it a day. Okay. Joy, I'm going to direct this next question to you. Someone is asking, we have someone here, Ashalom, asking about templates for a good statement of purpose. I don't know how permissive that is, but just right now on the call, I want you to really go in depth on preparing a good statement of purpose? Because I know a lot of people get stuck at that point. So can you really go into detail on how to structure your statement of purpose properly? Thank you.
Hi, yeah, sure. Let me see if I can even pull up the one that I used. So
Awesome.
first off, is like a letter. So just imagine you're writing a formal letter, right? Then, so you're writing statement of purpose for the application for student visa in Canada. Then, wait, hold on. I think yes. So you are not writing. So you're writing. Of course, just think about it first as a formal letter. That's the
Okay.
first. So you're introducing yourself. You're introducing yourself. You're introducing like your experience, your background, right? Like, don't worry if you haven't worked like a lot. That's fine. I think I saw a question. Someone was asking that, oh, should I do NYSC first before masters? I mean, that's just like I said, subjective. But if you're applying, you don't need to like show that you've had a lot of work experience. You just need to just like Ayo said, you have to display your interest and why you're applying. So if I can see what I wrote, no, so I introduced myself. I said that, I'm very like, of course, this is an opportunity, this is a privilege. And then I said my background that I just graduated from Covenant University with my degree. I was exposed to cybersecurity, engineering, and then you now give, just like I said, a brief summary of why you even want to go abroad. You're talking about first, like, okay, like why are you choosing to go for masters abroad? Why you've now chosen this particular school, and why you've chosen that course in that school. So it's just like so when you're writing a letter, it should follow like the
Hierarchy.
person that is reading it, yeah, it should follow like hierarchy. The person that's reading it should be able to easily like take out the summary from what you're saying. So when I started, I explained to them, I told them my work experience. I now started talking about IT and how IT is evolving, so and so and so. And so and about how me going to this particular school would help me gain the experience with the emerging technologies. And then part of my letter, I now wrote, so why Laurentian University? So then I now started saying about the facts, like Laurentian University, global flexibility, the flexibility of the courses, that I'll be able to both have time to study and also work off campus, so on, so on, so. But just your letter has to like follow, it has to be thorough. Don't just go here, talk about the
All
school,
around.
and talk about exactly. So just think about it
Okay.
as a formal letter. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Joy. Really appreciate that breakdown, and I hope that helps,
No
Asha.
problem.
Okay, so we have two more questions to go. Ayo, I'm just going to push this question to you. Just a second. We have a lot of questions around finance, right? We have a lot of questions around finance. So I'll just ask you, from your experience, what's the best way of navigating around application fees? I mean, I know there's a whole lot to talk about there, but if I'm looking at going for masters abroad, how do I begin to look at application fees, funding? How do I wrap my head around that? Thank you.
Okay. Just to bring to your notice, there are some questions on the chat box as well. Maybe I will summarize it.
Okay.
And then, to answer the question, how do you get around application fees? Like Emmanuel had mentioned earlier, a closed mouth is a closed destiny. To be quite honest, in my time, I paid my application fee myself because I was working. So I had the money, right? But a closed mouth is a closed destiny. I know the way we Nigerians, or like a part of our world, we tend to be very secretive about these things because, oh, our village people should not get castle or apply. But the truth is that there's power in speaking up.
Yeah.
There's power in speaking up, and you just have to really be strategic about the kind of people you're speaking to, right? You should maybe, I don't, it depends on like the kind of family you come from. You can talk to this uncle that oh, cool, I'm looking to, apply for like a
For
master's, or
masters.
it looks like I will need your help one way or another. Please don't go and meet them today and say you need money tomorrow. It will not work that way. So that's part of why you have to like plan ahead. Again, I mean, I might just be talking like generally, but because I don't have that experience, I paid myself, right? But I feel like if you're trying to gather funds, there's something Yoruba says, fetisile, like put your ears on the ground,
Yeah.
research, be like, try to follow like people that you think share like this kind of information, right? And I know that on Twitter there are some people that are like, okay, they give like scholarship for application fee. I know there are probably some organizations that also do that, and there are some organizations that do like something like grants. So
Okay.
research, literally, Google is your friend, ChatGPT is your friend, LinkedIn is your friend, a quick Twitter search is your friend, right?
Okay.
And family members.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, I can see more questions. Thank you for pointing that out, that Ayo as well, and thank you for your answer. So let's just see if we can take one or two more and call it a night. So Joy, this question is for you. Even though the question is related to the US, I feel since because you're in Canada, you might have some experience. Ayo is in Spain, so she can't talk much here. Sorry, in Berlin rather. Okay. So this question is from Boluwatife, and it says, please, can you talk about how to ace US visa interviews or guide in this Trump administration? I'm aspiring to do an MSc in industrial engineering and USA. Is this the best country to do that? So, Joy, this question is for you. Just guide on US interviews if you have any, and about the Masters in Industrial Engineering in the US. So let's get your thoughts on that. Thank you.
Okay, so first, I have very little information on US immigration because as much as US and Canada are like brothers and sisters, they are two different completely processes. Like now,
Yeah.
for example, like now, for example, I know somebody in US, he was doing his master's, but he couldn't work. Like that is part of like your own, like as long as you come here for your postgraduate degree, you are not allowed to work, like make money off campus. So of course, here in Canada, you can work, make money off campus. So if it's possible for me, Boluwatife, to maybe do some research and then answer you, I have to get back to you on that because I don't know much about the visa interviews. But what I can say is that if you are aspiring to go to the USA for MSc Industrial Engineering, let me tell you, one of the best things you can do is one, you can find a school. You can find a school that does that program like as a research program. So you can find a school that does a research program. You can reach out to the lecturers, explain your interest in that, and then, explain your interest, right? And then also explain that you would love to like work, you would love to like learn under them, kind of like as a research assistant. That, and then of course, if they reply you, that gives you more of an edge because you're not just like blindly applying anymore. You have aligned, like you have gotten a recommendation from somebody in that school, so it helps your application. So that's the best thing that I can give you. I don't know too much about visa interviews right now. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's keep the answers coming. So we're rounding up now. I'll just quickly pull up this question with you. I feel it's a really good one, and it's from Ife, and it says, if you're applying for a scholarship, it should be assumed, that you can't afford it, right? You can't afford the fees. So what happens when you have to declare your finances? So typically applying for scholarship, you kind of maybe can't really afford it, or you want to reduce the fees you have to pay. So when you're now being asked to declare your finances, how do you navigate around that? So Ayo, take us away on that.
Okay, so one thing you should understand is like scholarship is like a support. It's not the whole lifting of burden.
Okay.
So they want to see, they're not even saying, so even if you have, say, for example, now you have like $10,000 in your account, right? You're asking for scholar, you have $10,000 in your account. school fees is like $20,000. Living expenses for a year is like $25,000. Say everything plus and minus. For 1 year with school fees and everything, you need $50,000. So if they give you scholarship, how will you survive on like living, right? What will you show to the like consulate or the embassy, right? Because like Joy said, they want to see that you can fend for yourself. If push comes to shove and you probably don't get a job. So for me now, I actually submitted my bank statements, and because I was working, I submitted my pay slip. They even asked for my like what properties my parents have. Like they asked for all of those details, but they still gave me the scholarship, right? And at the embassy, I had to also submit my bank statement, my pay slip, my parents' details, and then even the scholarship letter. So the point is that even like with the scholarship, they just want to see that the scholarship plus what you have at the very least, maybe like 80% you are soft at the very least. Like when you have scholarship and you had everything. So it's not that you have 0 naira or zero something. Another thing you should also know, they also like considered currency, right? Because even if you have 20 million naira in your account, if you convert it to their currency, it's almost like close to nothing.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't like scholarship is not saying you are point blank broke or like minus minus minus. It's basically saying this is what I have. Either you help me or you help me, literally. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Ayo. And I just wanted to point out that like we still have almost 60 people on the call by 9:12 p.m. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And I hope we are gaining maximum value from this session. So, Ayo, I just want to ask you your last question before I move to Joy. And I would really appreciate if you can keep it brief. So this question is from Christian Alonge, and they say, is it possible to get your PR while being a student? Is it
If you're
possible to get
in Europe, oh, yeah. I don't know. No, to be quite honest, in Europe it's not possible because no, let me not say Europe, but like for the non-speaking English countries, it's not possible. Because first
Yeah.
things first, you need language certificates, right? Maybe
Yeah.
B1, B2, whatever.
Yeah.
Second, you need to have contributed to their country in terms of like taxes or pension. Like in Germany now, you need to have contributed to the country like 60 months. So if you're a student, you've not reached 24 months for you to be able to get PR. Again, there are different routes, different methods, but in non-speaking English countries, you cannot be a PR, you cannot get PR while a student. Like it's almost never possible. In Spain, PR, you need like 5 years. You need to have lived in Spain for 5 years to get a PR. And that 5 years, your studentship is not counted. So if you do 5 plus, maybe your course is 1 year or 2 years, that's like 7 years to have lived in Spain before you get like a PR. And like again, you have to have contributed to their country. So
Yeah.
it depends on the country, but like those non-speaking English countries, you cannot be a student and get a PR.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for that breakdown.
Sorry, just a clause. Except
Okay.
maybe you came with like maybe you're married and your husband or wife is already working, and then you came into the country to reunite with them, and then you now became a student. Probably will work because based off like you're probably like you're tapping or you're tagging along in quotes. Right. But if like from the entry is a student, you cannot.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much. And this is our final question for tonight. Thank you guys so much for staying on the call up to this time. So Joy, you just be rounding off for us. And I think this question is a really good way to close out the session. And it's from Biola, and she's saying, for a recent graduate, what is the best path forward? NYSC or Masters? I know it's subjective, but I would like to learn from your experience. So NYSC or Masters? I just graduated. We actually just released new sets of Eagles, I think about 2 weeks ago. So she's probably a recent Eagle. Congratulations. But NYSC or Masters, what would you think is the best route for her? Thank you very much, Joy, as you round up for us.
Okay. So I say congratulations to Biola. Yes. In my experience, I did NYSC, then I went for my master's. What I would say now is something Ayo said at the beginning, said that if you're going for your master's, right, like you have to, I would say, gain some work experience. whether it's through your NYC, whether it's even after your NYC, because when you're coming for a master's, like you should plan, right? You should plan, you should know that, okay, this course I want to do, I actually want to do it. And then, yeah, exactly. Like there's no need to rush, honestly. Don't rush to leave the country and go and do your master's. Like you don't even, you're not even sure that course you're doing. If you want to do it, you're not even sure that course you're never sure that course is even needed in the country that you're going to, is even needed in the city that you're going for. When I left just as like a regular data analyst. I didn't go so deep into it, right? So by the time I now got here in Ontario, even as much as they need data analysts, they also need you to like have coding experience, and I didn't have coding experience. They also need you to have this, they also need to have that. So if you truly want to come for your masters, and if you want to come for your masters and then you want to stay in the city, stay in the country afterwards, I would say that I would advise that you should go for your NYC, like use that NYC period time to gain work experience. If you can even work after your NYC, do that. Honestly, see, don't be in a hurry to go abroad, right? Because when you're coming to masters, you have to plan. Like you have to like plan, you have to know the course, you have to know you have money. So don't be in a hurry. Do your NYC before you go for your masters.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much, Joy. And I think that's a really good way to round up for the night. Don't be in a hurry, guys. In as much as we want to further education, achieve a lot of great things in life, learn to take it one step at a time, right? Everyday progress is better than just trying to rush everything. So again, I want to thank you all so much. We're still about 60 on the call. By 9:18 p.m., like, shouldn't you guys be partying, doing something else? Like, I am so honored, and thank you, everyone. I hope you really gained so much from the call, right? So thank you all so much for the call. And Joy and Ayo, I hope you would also be able to take further questions. Maybe if people reach out to you on LinkedIn, from your names, Joy Alonge, right, and Ayo, Joy Alonge and Ayooluwa Adebolu. So please do well to reach out to them. Please don't spam them, right? Please, so that they don't reject your messages. And if you're a Covenant University student, put it on your bio, mark it on your forehead, please. Guys, CU has name, so please let's rep the name. This is Emmanuel, your 2021 flight lead. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Ayo. We really appreciate you guys for joining. And good night, everyone, or good day.
Night.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
Akpan.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.